Oklahoma's own News on 6 starts now.
Chilly weather this morning as you're heading out. Alan's updating the active weather pattern, including a timeline for the next chance for storms.
And Facebook could be announcing any moment now whether former President Donald Trump can reactivate his account. We'll have the latest on this decision still ahead.
And today is Cinco de Mayo. Streets are already closed in downtown for today's big block party. We'll have live report on how you can participate still ahead. Good morning and welcome to the Tulsa CW. Thank you for making the switch to be here on our last hour this morning. I'm Leanne Taylor.
I'm Dave Davis. We turn things over here to Alan Crone to get it kicked off on the CW.
Yeah, it's good. Start to the day. A little chilly, but we're okay here. Some fog in the valleys, a little sunshine, but some clouds to the west of us. If you take a jacket this morning, you are going to be good to go. A few high and mid-level clouds out to the west. Now, those are moving closer to the metro. They're going to fall apart. And we'll have a few more clouds late tonight, early tomorrow, with even a chance for a sprinkle for a neighbor or two. Bartlesville North, late this afternoon, early evening, there might be one small little shower. And then we'll track several disturbances, especially once we get into the weekend with an unsettled weather pattern. 50 right now, wind calm, dew point 43. This is going to be a light wind day. That's a good takeaway for a lot of folks. 51 in Catoosa. And temperatures climbing 53 in the Skytook area. Still some fog across the Arkansas and Illinois River valleys this morning across extreme eastern Oklahoma. Out the door, 40s now, 50s at 10 o'clock. 64 at the noon hour, spectacular patio lunch today. 3 o'clock at 70. And then a weak wave moves right across southern Kansas late this afternoon, early. Small little shower possibility there. Most of you won't see that in southern Kansas. And then after the midnight hour, another wave passes our area to the south and west. We'll take a look at that very low probability and a sneak peek into the weekend, all coming up next.
Sounds good. It's now 8:02. Let's bring in Stephen Nairns for an update on the morning drive. How's it going?
We're still doing pretty well. It's been a fairly uneventful one. Very few accidents on highways to slow things down. Of course, we'll start getting through the peak of rush hour right now, but it's overall not bad. If you're hitting the road here shortly, there's the BA 169 behind me, of course, sluggish in spots as it always is this time in the morning, but not out of the ordinary, nothing out of the ordinary. We've had a couple accidents on 129th East Avenue, one just south of the BA and one up closer to 31st Street, neither one of which seem to have caused too many big time issues so far. Of course, the sore spot as always is I-44 and Highway 75, and it is very sluggish. Eastbound 44 coming off the turnpike, the western split there, and then northbound 75 coming from 71st Street. Stand still at times, so be prepared for extra time. On the Birkenhead Expressway, Lynn Lane, 13 minutes to downtown. Tulsa Hills, 14 minutes coming up Highway 75, yep, sluggish. And Sand Springs, 7 minutes coming in from the west side.
Thank you. We have breaking news just into the newsroom. Former President Trump will not be allowed to return to Facebook.
An independent oversight board just voted against him a few minutes ago. News on 6's Shannon Russo has been following this for us all morning long and has the latest. Shannon?
And David Lane, we know that this decision is not indefinite. The board will revisit this decision here in the next 6 months. But for right now, President Trump will not be allowed back on Facebook for at least those next 6 months. This decision comes after January, when President Trump took to Facebook and made a post that Facebook deemed to be inappropriate, and they believed it incited violence during the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Facebook's independent oversight board presented their findings just minutes ago, and they have upheld that decision, as we've said multiple times. Two key factors played a role in this case. The first is users' rights to free expression. The second is the public's right to safety. The board evaluated whether Facebook's content policies were easy to understand and applied fairly. The board who made that decision is made up of 20 members and is often referred to as Facebook's Supreme Court. That's because they can overturn decisions made by Facebook executives, which we saw did not happen today. Since Instagram is part of Facebook, the former president will not be allowed to have an account there either. Right now, he is also banned from using Twitter and YouTube. Shannon Russo, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Thank you, Shannon. Happening today, a planning commission will meet to determine what's next for an empty hotel near 81st and Lewis. News on 6's Cal Day joins us with more on the developer's plan for the hotel and the opposition they face from some people who live in that area. Cal?
Yeah, that's right, Leanne. Good morning. Behind me is the old Crown Plaza Hotel that's been closed for about a year now. Well, a developer has plans to revitalize this building into a hybrid of a new hotel on some floors and an area for veteran housing and adult daycare on other floors. Well, a petition and several repeated letters from people living in the area are asking the committee to deny this redevelopment. Some of the reason behind the opposition includes concerns over an increase in crime and that there's already low-income housing near many of the homes in this area. Veteran Services USA is the driving force behind the idea and says this project will not be low-income housing, but instead a much-needed resource for Tulsa's veterans. They also say the residents will have to be 55 and older, and the building will have round-the-clock security. These misconceptions are what will be addressed in today's meeting.
And we're also reaching out to organizations, veterans organizations, and neighboring businesses to make sure that they have a full picture of what we're about and why we want to be a part of this community.
And that meeting is set to take place at 1 o'clock this afternoon. We have included a link to the agenda, which includes more on this project and the opposition it's been facing inside this story on our free News on 6 app. Live in South Tulsa, Cal Day, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Thank you, Cal. Happening today, a group of bars in the Blue Dome District will be hosting a Cinco de Mayo street party that's open to the public.
News on 6's Brooke Griffin joins us with the details of one of the first bigger events since the city lifted most of the COVID restrictions. Brooke?
Well, starting today at noon, the Blue Dome District is expected to be packed with people who are wanting to come out and celebrate Cinco de Mayo now that Tulsa is kind of getting a bit back to normal. Arnie's and Red's bars here in the Blue Dome District have come together to host a street party with food trucks, outdoor bars, and live music for Cinco de Mayo. 2nd Street is already blocked off between Detroit and Elgin and will stay that way until the event clears out at some point tonight. The celebration has no cover charge or tickets and is open to all ages, but of course food and drink costs are up to the vendors themselves. Now, this is the first holiday since the city of Tulsa has lifted the mask mandate and other COVID restrictions, and Arnie's co-owner Joe Armstrong says that it's been far too long since everybody has come together, so this is needed.
Enjoy some gorgeous weather, some tacos and some margaritas with our friends, and just really kind of try and start getting back to whatever our new normal is.
And this isn't the only event happening today. There are several happening across downtown and Tulsa and Green Country. So if you would like a bigger list of some of your options, head over to newson6.com and I have that for you. Live in Tulsa, Brooke Griffin, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Brooke, thank you. And here at 8:07, Alan, how does a noon outdoor party sound today weather-wise?
Spectacular. I would have a little sunscreen as well. Sunscreen here on out through the rest of the season, right? Springtime, summer. Actually, you should use it year-round, but especially this time of the year. There will be a few clouds near, and you can see that right now. So we're looking right across Gathering Place, and a few high and mid-level clouds that are going all the way back into northwestern Oklahoma. The reason why, the upper airflow is from the northwest to the south and east. So we're going to have to deal with that occasionally. But I think sunshine will be the call here. 50 right now, wind calm, a light wind day ahead of us. It's going to be very pleasant. If you have outdoor activities that require light wind, you're trying to get on one of the area lakes, good for you. It's all good here, 40s and 50s. Now, we still have some patchy fog. It's mostly in the valleys, mostly along the Arkansas-Illinois River Valley-ish areas. So use some caution. It's going to be pretty thick. You'll drive down the road and just drive into it and right out of it. Highs today near 70. Normal high is 76, so still below the seasonal average. Lunch hour, there you go, 64 today. 3 o'clock, 70. Then we turn our attention to two very small waves. And the reason I'm going to mention this is because there will be a chance for a small shower with both of these waves. The first, right across the Oklahoma-Kansas state line area around Coffeyville, South Coffeyville, Independence, late this afternoon, early evening. The second is going to end up being south-southwest of the Tulsa metro. So we have two layers here of green. This is a low probability of Mulkey-Bristow near Tulsa, and a little better chance through central Oklahoma. Good news here. Instability very low. There's not a lot of moisture, so no severe thunderstorm threats. Great. Temperatures tomorrow morning 40s near 50, and then we'll see sunshine and better weather again tomorrow. The temperatures coming up closer to the seasonal average, but still with a north breeze. This time of the year, it's usually a south wind. That turns back out of the south Friday and Saturday. That's ahead of a strong storm system. This is going to bring storm chances back to the region, so we'll have to watch pretty closely for Saturday night late into early Sunday. So my next update, more on that time period and what kind of early severe weather threats we might be looking at.
Okay, thank you very much, Alan. It's now 8:10. Still ahead, we're going to show you some deals at restaurants that you can take advantage of today for Cinco de Mayo. And the changes the state health department says they are making on reporting COVID-19 cases in Oklahoma.
Still watching that drive on this Wednesday morning for the tail end of rush hour. Updates coming up after the break.